Good afternoon. This is the first Tobacco Settlement Oversight Committee meeting called to order. We're going to go a little bit out of order on the agenda. We're waiting on one more member to have a quorum to elect officers, so we're going to go backwards and let our speakers speak. So, Mr. Reed, if you want to introduce everybody. Do we need a roll call first, even though we're waiting on? So, I'm sorry. First of all, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Herron, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator Reed, Senator Richardson, Senator Webb, Representative Pfister,
Here.
Representative Hancock,
Here.
Representative King,
Present.
Representative McPherson,
Here.
Representative Works,
Here.
Representative Dossett,
Present.
Senator Howell,
Present.
and Representative Pollock.
Here.
And I believe, let the record reflect that Senator Herron is here too. So now we are going to go back in order. If we would, the first order of business is to elect co-chairs. Madam Secretary.
Okay, so the first order of business is election of committee co-chairs as provided by KRS 248.723. Under the statute, House members elect a House co-chair and Senate members elect a Senate co-chair. Beginning with the House, is there a nomination from a House member for the position of House co-chair of the Tobacco Settlement Agreement Fund Oversight Committee? Representative Pfister.
I'd like to nominate Representative Michael Pollock. Second.
It's seconded by McPherson. Okay. And is there a nomination from a Senate member for the position of Senate co-chair of the Tobacco Settlement Agreement Fund Oversight Committee?
I'd like to nominate Senator Jason Howell.
Okay. So Senator Richardson, second made by Senator Reed. Perfect. We have now elected Senator Jason Howell and Representative Sarge Pollock. The meeting may proceed.
Thank you. That out of the way, we have the minutes are in our packet. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Motion by Representative McPherson. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been motioned and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. With that out of the way, we now have report on projects by the Agricultural Development Board. Mr. Reed, good to see you as always. Please introduce yourself and your guests for the record. The floor is yours.
Absolutely. Thank you. Congratulations to the newly elected co-chairs of the House Tobacco and Senate Tobacco Oversight Committee, Senator Howell, Representative Pollock. Congratulations on your all's appointments, and I know y'all will do a wonderful job. Huge legacy to fulfill, a lot of good shoes to fill over the years, and we truly appreciate you all stepping up and wanting to make sure these funds are spend it correctly over the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And congratulations to all the new members of this committee. I know there's a lot to dive into, and we don't think that comes lightly. So also congratulations to, I think, the first ex officio member, the chairman of the House Ag Committee, and now the ex officio member of the Tobacco Oversight, Representative Dossett. Congratulations. I know you'll bring a lot of wisdom to the floor, and thank you for serving in this capacity. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Just want to dive right in. We've been busy, as you can see there on the front page. We're going to be going over reports from December 2024 up until April 2025. We just wrapped up our May board meetings, and you all will receive those reports in June, and then on, as we do our board meetings, you'll receive those reports as we start this year with our Tobacco Oversight Committee reports. We'll do the same thing we did last year. For those that was here last year, I think it works out really well. We'll go through some updates from the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, and then we'll dive into our reports. You all receive those reports in front of you. You have all the records from our committee meetings and our board meetings. And then what we'll do, we have what we call Bill and Brandon's picks, and we'll go through and pick the top projects that we think just to kind of highlight and give an introduction to. Of course, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask us questions or get with us later on if you have any questions for a follow-up. I just want to take a minute, if we can, we'll go forward. Just take a minute, and Commissioner Shell's been busy. In fact, he's in Washington, D.C. today having some policy meetings and having some staff meetings up in Washington, D.C., so he's busy, but he sends his greetings. But as you can see from that picture, we've been really busy at the Kentucky Department of Agriculture since December. In fact, you all have had a session since then, so we truly appreciate you all. With Senate Bill 28, Senator Howell, thank you for sponsoring that bill. Thank you for the House for House Joint Resolution 31 for putting $5 million in our economic development. And of course, that new fund and that new division is set up in the Kentucky Office of Ag Policy as a separate division with general fund money for economic development. And we just got through having our first Kentucky Agriculture Economic Development Board meeting this past week. Really went really well. We're setting up our board, making our board appointments, setting up our guidelines and our principles. We'll take the next couple of months to make sure all that is in order. And then when July rolls around, the $5 million will come down to our accounts, and then we can take on applications and do due diligence on projects that we are seeking out. But as you can see in those pictures there, down there in the bottom left corner, that was our Kentucky Proud breakfast that we had down here in the cafeteria that a lot of you all came to. Thank you all so much for coming to that breakfast that we try to host every year for you all. But there's Commissioner Shell toured the Tyson plant. Up there in the top right corner in March is Kentucky Ag Tag Month. That's when Commissioner Shell travels across Kentucky, partnering with our county clerks, making sure that farmers understand the commitment they need to make to their ag tag, and they make that donation, and that donation goes into the fund, and our FFA members and our 4-H members receive a lot of grants and awards from that fund, and that's from our farm tag. So you can see how excited those kids are, and he went all over Kentucky, from West Kentucky to East Kentucky and Central Kentucky, making sure that that was promoted in the best possible way. And then he took a week in Ag Education Week. We had a first Ag Education, kind of like a primary elementary school Ag Education Week in Kentucky. And I think he visited over 30 schools that week promoting agriculture education at the elementary school level. And that was it was just a blessing to see all those kids. And that curriculum that week was focused around everything they did, from reading to math to history. Everything was focused around agriculture that week. So that was a good partnership that we started this year, and we can't wait to do it again. I think we're going to do another one in the fall, and then continue next year. So go ahead. And as always, we couldn't do anything we do without our staff. I am truly blessed, and blessed in every way to have a strong staff. A lot of those are in the room behind me today, if you all can wave. There we go. On the room with me today, they do a wonderful job week in, week out. And but I will say we have a staff member. He's been here about 24, almost 25 years. Sitting to my right here, Mr. Bill McCloskey, but he's still on probation, so I make him wear a tie. So anyway, but they do a wonderful job of making sure these programs and projects are taken in correctly, they're processed correctly, make sure the board receives the information they need to make the decisions that they need to make on a monthly basis, and then those projects and programs are executed correctly from the board's decisions, and then that allows us to report to you all every month, Tobacco Oversight. But I will say we do have we're starting our summer, so as you all know, we have interns that come in. So I do have an intern with us today, Leslie. If she can just pop up here for just a second. I want Leslie to introduce herself and tell a little bit about herself and what she's doing right now and what she's excited about. So just hit that green button. Yep, pull it to you. There you go. The floor is yours.
Perfect. Well, hello. It's very nice to meet you all. My name's Leslie Mulholland. I call Williamsburg or Whitley County home. I'm an upcoming senior at the University of Kentucky studying agricultural education and advocacy. My fourth day on the job, new to the team, but super excited to be here and learn lots this summer. I grew up on a cattle farm, and so I'm just excited to see other sectors of agriculture. So thanks for having me here today.
Before you leave, we got to get stuff. There we go. Good job. Thank you.
Sorry you had to have your selfie with him.
You can do it with them. I think they charge about $10, but after the meeting, they'll let you. But Leslie's going to be joining us this summer, and as you all know, in the fall we put out our annual report to you all. By statute, that's the annual report that we give to the legislature to let you all know what we've done the previous year. Our interns are instrumental in putting that report together. They travel to Commonwealth, Kentucky. They do interviews with our recipients from our programs and our projects, and then they come back and assimilate that information and get it with our staff and try to get that report out. So it's a true blessing. But I will say, we do a really good job of the staff that we have. They do a tremendous job, so tremendous that every once in a while we'll lose one of them because they go on and they do other things. But Mr. Tara Roberts, who's sitting back here, I told him I wouldn't embarrass him, but I'll have to anyway. But Tara is one of our loan finance managers. Has done a tremendous job. In fact, Miss King, Myron Dossett, yeah, that's probably it. But if you remember back in 2017, 2018, Tara was a constitutional page on the floor. And so he's all grown up now. And but anyway, he's done a tremendous job with our office, and we're truly going to miss him. But he's going on and starting another career, and we wish him all the best. Commissioner Shell wishes him all the best, but he has been a true blessing to our office, and we're going to miss him. But so Tara, I'm trying not to embarrass you, but this is one of my goodbyes. But thank you so much for what you brought to the office. Thank you for your dedication, your sacrifice to this office, and we wish you all the well. So thank you so much. So. And I will say, when he was a page, they had those page jackets with one of the, if you all can know where those are, if you can just grab one, no big deal. He just wants to, maybe take that with him as a souvenir. So no, but so yeah, when I came in, I started this job last year. I looked in the office and Tara was sitting there. I was like, man, I think I recognize you. He's like, yeah, I was a page back a couple of years ago. I was like, okay, cool. So fast forward, and he's working doing finance loans for us and doing a good job. But now he's going on to I won't say greener pastures, but other pastures, put it that way. So, but as always, we're proud of our staff. So, all right, so we've been busy. So here's the dollar figures from December up until April. As you can see, in December, we have $7.8 million through the Ag Development Board, $3.3 million in Finance Corporation. Going into January, we had $2.5 million in Ag Development Board, $2.9 million Ag Finance. February, $300,000 Ag Development Board, Finance, $1.2 million. In March, we had $2.1 million in Ag Development Board, Finance Corporation, $2.4 million in strategic investments. And then in April, Ag Development Board had $1.3 million, and Finance Corporation finished up with $2.1 million. So those are the totals that were from our two boards going from December to April. And then our staff in our office has been busy. As you can see, 5 staff members attended competitive leadership programs, different programs. One like the Kentucky Agriculture Leadership Program, the Kentucky Cattlemen's Association Leadership Program. I think you all seen those two organizations up here when you all was in session. They visited your all's offices and attended committee meetings. And then staff traveled to 6 locations around the state to present FSA guaranteed lender trainings. We try to partner with our lenders and the FSA program across the state, where we basically relay information to those areas, those regional events, just to make sure that our program is known, how it works, and to see if they have any questions. That collaboration is very important to our finance program. And then staff attend the Kentucky Dairy Development Council annual meeting in Bowling Green. We had a staff attend the Eastern Kentucky Farmer Conference in London. And then 6 out of our 8 KOAP administrator trainings, our regional trainings, have been completed for this year so far. And then our County Agriculture Development Council meetings, we had 11 November, we had 11 December, 7 in January, 15 February, 24 in March, and 19 in April. As you can see, it's ramped up. This is our busy time of the year. By statute, our county councils have to have their comprehensive plans done and turned in by the end of June. So we always urge those individuals to make sure they meet. And of course, they have to contact our office. And we always send a staff member to those county councils as they make decisions on the local level, and then report back to you all. All right, and there's some things that we've done around Kentucky. If you see, some of our staff meetings, our board members. That's and the picture in the middle is down in Owensboro taking another selfie, and then Sarah is over there on the right conducting one of our regional CAPE trainings. All right. All right, and now we come to the meat of the subject matter. So I'm going to turn it over to Bill as he goes through Bill and Brandon's top picks. He'll take you through some of the top picks from December, and we'll go there.
All right, we'll start with the December packet on page 16. This is the applicant is the Cowan Community Action Group. They were approved for $251,000 in state funds, or $250,000 in state funds and $1,000 in county funds. The reason we highlighted this shows or illustrates one of the priorities of the Ag Development Board under the Farmers Market program. So every county is eligible half the cost up to $250,000 to assist in the construction of a farmers market. So we're up well over 70 counties now have permanent farmers market structures, and there's 25 farm families right now involved in the farmers market there in Whitesburg. Has anybody had a chance to experience that? You see, it's a vibrant farmers market. I was able to attend their market several years ago. And so they're looking forward to having a permanent structure versus right now closing off part of the street there in downtown Whitesburg, having a permanent structure, and then obviously having some bathrooms. That's an important component of any farmer's market project. Anytime we meet with a potential applicant, we talk about, okay, have you incorporated the bathrooms in as part of the application? Because coming back later and just asking for bathrooms doesn't make for a very sexy press release. So we encourage them to incorporate that in their application when they're considering it. Moving on to January. So we're going to be in your January packet. That's on page number 10. It's the Community Farm Alliance. This organization has been around for a number of years. Started out as basically a membership organization with the membership consisting of small, mid-size farmers basically participating or providing input on policies related to small, mid-sized farmers. Over the years, they started to expand or evolve into working with farmers markets and also being able to secure federal dollars for nutritional programs, for example, the double dollar. So you can see in the information in your packet, although they were approved for $868,000, they've been able to leverage over $2.2 million in federal programs to help that. So again, they're targeting working with farmers markets, providing professional staff as part of Community Farmer Alliance. Most of your farmers markets, I mentioned over 70 across the state, have volunteer managers. So this provides some professional staff support. And as you know, a lot of these farmers markets are business incubators for produce or vegetable growers to go on and aggregate or be part of distribution business, and also work with a company like Creation Guards. I'm sure you're familiar with Creation Guards. Everybody's seen those red trucks. They provide product to most of the schools in Kentucky. So they're traveling across the state as a distribution company, and they've received funds from the Ag Development Board to help them expand their distribution program. I'm talking about Creation Gardens, that is very involved in working with producers and wanting to process and distribute it locally grown product. So that's January. So moving on to February. So we're into the February packet. And I'll turn my pages here. We're on page 14. So we want to highlight one of the counties that utilize their county money. This is Metcalfe County 4-H Council. So you can see they approved county money, $2,063, to help purchase 40 hams for the Metcalfe County 4-H members. So in their package, you can see what they learned. The youth learned from this, and this is a program that's probably been existing for 10 years. They learn about curing process, food safety, meat production, food preservation, and then they also go on and participate and give speeches at the state fair. So that's just a county project we wanted to highlight. Moving on to March. A project your ex officio member is very involved with, the Hopkinsville Elevator Company. So they're looking to expand their rail accessibility. So a lot of product moves out of the Hopkinsville elevator. In fact, this was one of the first projects that we funded, if you recall, Representative Dossett, back in 2001. Yes, I was still around at that time. And that's when they ventured in after about, in existence of about 20 years. I think they've been involved, Hopkinsville area has been in existence for at least 40 years. Does that sound about right, Representative Dossett? So in 2001, they started investigating getting into ethanol production. And they were able to secure a $8 million grant from the Ag Development Board, and then later a $3.2 million loan they've since paid off for the ethanol plant. So now you fast forward where they are right now. I think they're in the 50 million gallon ethanol production, obviously the premier ethanol producer here in the state, and that's providing market opportunities for 3,800 farmers in 70 counties here in the state. So those farmers that market their corn through the ethanol plant, and which is also owned by Hopkinsville Elevator, they're getting market price for the corn, and then they provide a dividend every year, which is in the millions of dollars of what they provide. So they are one of our more successful, if not the most successful project we've been part of in the last 24 years. So give you an update on that project for another expansion. And then going into our last update for you, in April, we're on page 12, the W&W Veterinary Services. So they were approved for $66,241 in state funds and Madison County funds to upgrade their large animal handling facility as part of the large and food animal veterinary incentives program. We wanted to highlight this to illustrate this is also a priority of the Ag Development Board, trying to address what we all know is a large and food animal veterinarian shortage in not only nationally but Kentucky as well. So we started this program in 2023. So I'm looking in our list here of veterinarians, the veterinarians that provide large and food animal veterinarian services. We're at this point, Brandon, 32 veterinarians have taken advantage of this program for a total of $330,000 in county money, $1.5 million in state money, for almost $2 million. The Ag Development Board has supported to address this issue. We have a shortage of large food animal veterinarians. It's structured where applicants can request 75% of a project cost up to $100,000. So you can see on this project here where they're going to renovate their loadout, where they've got livestock producers bringing the animals to their location where they can provide veterinarian care. So it's an $88,332 project. So the way it's structured, 75% of that is eligible. So going through the math, that's $66,241 is eligible for funding in state and county money. Because we have 5-to-1 state money, 5-to-1 on the county money, the reason the board structured it to get input from the county, so the counties have input and provide feedback to the board that this is a viable project and this is something they want to support. So if they put some county money in it, for every $1, they'll match it with $5. So on this project, there is they were able to receive $11,040 in county money from the Madison County Agricultural Development Council, and that could leverage $66,000 or $55,000 in state money for a total of $66,241. That's an initiative of the Ag Development Board to address the large food animal shortage we have here in Kentucky. That wraps up my report.
Thank you, Bill. And y'all see on page 22 of y'all's report, is that this handout?
No, that was.
Is this in there?
No, it's not in there.
Okay, we can get you all next. We actually do every month we do an update on that. So next month we might actually concentrate on that, and we'll let you see how many vet programs that what we've contributed to so far, thanks to your all's appropriation. So thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We do have another intern that has popped in. He's not working with Ag Development, Kentucky Office of Ag Policy, but he is working with KDA this year through Legal Services. So I'm gonna call Davis. Come on up, and I want to embarrass him a little bit if I can. All right, Davis. Mike is on. Just introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Reed, for the great introduction. My name is Davis Miller. I'm originally from Lexington, Kentucky. I'm a current student at Wofford College in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Like Mr. Reed said, I am interning in the Office of Legal Services. For the Kentucky Department of Agriculture, I'm here with the great Mark Bowling as well. I appreciate him letting me tag along today. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited for a great summer, and I appreciate y'all letting me be here today. Thank you.
I'm surprised you didn't say go Terriers.
And then I just want to remind you all, you all invited. I please hope that you all will attend Senator Webb, especially if you can come on June 20th, 2025. We will start our 25th year anniversary, our silver anniversary of the Ag Development Fund. We will be celebrating House Bill 611, and we're 25 years in the future. So this is the fruition of your service and your dedication. So many people. I actually had a meeting today with Commissioner Billy Ray Smith, and we had a good conversation. Just 25 years, wow! And if you all can just come to the Kentucky History Center, we're going to celebrate House Bill 611. We're going to celebrate the history. The reason we're having it there is that's the first place that we start that meeting was there. And so we're going to start at 9 o'clock. We're going to have the Ag Finance Board meeting, and at the conclusion of that meeting, we will have the Ag Development Board meeting. It will be a joint board meeting. We will have lunch, but we're going to receive a report. By statute, we do a comprehensive kind of a plan ourselves, KK&P, that we have contracted with. They will take some time and give us some recommendations on, where we've been, where we are now, and some recommendations on where we need to go in the next 5 to 10 years. And then we're also going to have a panel of some executive directors from the past, and we're going to have a lunch. And then, of course, we'll get down to business with our committee meeting after lunch. But it's going to be a wonderful event. And, Bill, you want to say anything about that? I know you probably want to, so.
About the
25-year celebration.
I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah.
Probation, maybe I'll be off probation by then.
No, but please come. Starts at 9 o'clock, June 20th at Kentucky History Center. Just come one, come all. We'd be glad to host you all. So thank you. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our report.
Thank you. Thanks for your report today, and thanks for all you do. This is one of the things that I think history has proven that Kentucky's gotten right with how we've used our tobacco settlement funds, and we appreciate all the work you do making sure that those funds continue to be used beneficially. Sorry, we have some questions and comments. Representative Dossett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Brandon, I want to say thank you on behalf of myself and Senator Richardson. The funding going there to Hopkinsville Elevator to extend their rail. Right now, I believe they have the capacity of loading 15 cars at a time. This is going to allow them right at 50 cars that they'll pull in and load out. So tremendous benefit to them to understand the amount of grain that comes through that facility all over from West Kentucky. Also, the fact that it's located right adjoining our two of our industrial parks, and knowing what we're looking at, hopefully here in the future, of maybe seeing agribusiness, industrial facilities located in that park. So want to offer my thanks for what you're doing there for Christian County and all of West Kentucky.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Webb, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And former Mr. Chairman, I think if the committee would ever go on back on the road, we need to go back to Hopkinsville and see that, because it's an impressive operation and a real success story. But I appreciate y'all, and I was going to jump on y'all a little bit because I count those projects east I-75 until I saw you gave my veterinarian, you approved one of my veterinarians, and I can't say much about it. But I do want to maintain an emphasis on east of I-75. And we've got new members on this committee, and they've not heard my annual spiel. But I encourage you, as we celebrate 25 years, I started working on this in 98. It was my first job even before I was sworn in. The Attorney General called me and said, we got the settlement, we need help. And then the process to get to House Bill 611 was not always pleasant. Friends got mad at each other, but we ended up with a pretty good product. But I think everybody needs to go back. If you're going to serve on this committee, you need to go back and read House Bill 611 and its history, because we have a statutory mission. And this committee's got a statutory mission. We are the stewards of this money. Other states did not do what we did. Every year when they see that pile of money, other entities are salivating over that money, especially if there's not much money to go around. And it's our job to protect it. And you can see the programs that we've been successful in throughout the state. And it goes back to tobacco impact. And at the time, one of my small house district was one of the most impacted per capita. Now, we've not been that, we've got good beef production, goat production, all that, but we've not been that innovative in utilizing these funds. So, and you know, also, you got to know what the counties are doing. You got to, I'm kind of hands-on that way, but it makes their job easier, makes our job easier for policymakers. But we're the stewards of this whole program, not just the money that goes through the Department of Ag and these boards. And it's a beef producer like me, it's important. You can see the strides we've made in beef production alone. But every year, when we get new members, you got homework. If you're going to serve on this committee and you're going to do the job, you need to go back and read House Bill 611 and all the articles affiliated with it. See how we got here, see how we maintained it, and so we can maintain it and if it's up to me, we'd have another revenue stream or two. But, you know, it's a limited fund, could be limited fund. We have to use it judiciously, and we got to protect it. The main thing to serve on this committee, you got to protect this fund. So that's my spiel for today, but I appreciate you all very much.
Thank you, Senator Webb. Representative King.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's great to have the gang all back together again. It's going to be a fun summer. My question is probably deep in the weeds. There is a program going forward at the federal level of making America healthy again. I've just been wondering, and even through the 2025 session, are there going to be federal changes that may change some of our laws or protocols here in Kentucky? And will that be a seamless transition if there are programs worded to hit this trigger, we must do this, or is there work to be done in the General Assembly to make sure Kentucky's ready to take on any changes from the federal nutrition guidelines?
Absolutely. Thank you, Representative King. So so this ain't a Kentucky Office of Ag Policy answer. I'm down changing my hats to the Kentucky Department of Agriculture. So Commissioner Shell, before that administrative change even happened, he had an initiative called Food is Medicine. I know you all have heard about that and worked with that. So he's really excited about that initiative. And we actually have a partnership with the Kentucky Hospital Association. So we're already kind of ahead of the game. And then with these new initiatives, we'll kind of see what comes down federally, and then how do we respond to that. So I'm sure you all will be involved here in the next session once we see what those initiatives are, how that impacts agriculture in Kentucky. And I'm sure you all will be called upon as that policy moves forward. But Kentucky Department of Agriculture is already ahead of the game. was already proactive in that conversation. So a lot of states weren't. We were. So thanks to our commissioner, Jonathan Shell. That's one of his passions is food is medicine. So we're trying to intertwine everything at the Kentucky Department of Agriculture so we can meet that demand and meet that policy initiative.
Very good. I knew you all would be on top of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Rourke.
Thank you, Chair. Bill, I wanted to ask about the March packet, page 11. It's one of the denied projects. It was Grow Farms, LLC. Can you share more about why that project was denied?
Yes, that was a project located in Jefferson County, and they had made a request for funding to expand cold storage at their operation. And the board had several months of negotiation with the applicant trying to tie a forgivable loan to how much produce they would purchase in order to receive the funding. And based on the formula that the board was proposing, they didn't agree to or didn't feel like they would be in a position to be able to buy as much produce relative to what they were asking for. So that's why it says it was no funded based on the performance. So.
And that was based on Kentucky producers.
Yeah.
So we was trying to protect Kentucky producers, and they just couldn't commit to that level that the board needed them to commit to.
Okay. Chair, do you mind if I ask a brief follow-up?
Please do.
Thank you. Do you know if that project is still moving forward? I think I see here it said Horton Fruit Company had money secured. Do you know if they're still moving forward with the initiative?
I'm not aware that they are moving forward with it. It was about 20,000 square feet of dry storage. They were looking to expand to cold storage, and so I'm not sure if they moved forward on that or not.
Thank you.
And just to follow up on that as well, for those that aren't as familiar with this process or new to it, is that kind of the underwriting criteria as such, some of the things that we do in evaluating these projects to make sure that not just that it's a good project, but it stays tight to some of the mission for some of the purposes of the funds, and in that, if you want to comment on that, you can. If not, that's fine too.
So by statute, the Ag Development Board, they develop policies and procedures and policies and guidelines on from that conversation that House had with House Bill 611, and they've, to the best of their due diligence, they have kept to those guidelines for 25 years. So whenever a project comes, they review every application comes before the board. Even if it goes against the guidelines at that time, every year the board reviews their guidelines and adopts new guidelines. A lot of the guidelines from the previous year, yes, are adopted, but they might change some or delete some or add some. And then every year they move along with that process. So as those applications come before the board, they review that. They also keep in mind of the money that we have available to us. And, they try to spread that money, throughout the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And again, that's why, with this new plan coming before us with KKMP, they've dove into that, and they're going to give us some recommendations, and the board can either accept those or go forward.
Thank you for digging in on that a little bit. Representative McPherson.
Yes, I just want to take just a second to kind of spin off what Senator Webb said. 25 years ago, I was one of the charter members in Allen County to start that bill, and I
remember attending those meetings.
Correct. And so with former Representative Wilson Stone and Al Pettigo that sits on your all's board now, it's amazing what this has done for our area down there. And you can drive around the county and see the different things and how we've transitioned. Allen County was one of the few counties in the state that after the tobacco base was gone, actually increased in tobacco production. We had more tobacco production in Allen County than we did when we had a basis program. But we sat down and tried to decide how this money should be distributed and had a plan through the county, and it's just really an honor to be able to sit here 25 years later and still see this progressing and doing and going forward, and the loan processing and all the things that we continue to do. I'm just appreciative of this, and we'll try to, Senator Webb, say protect it with everything we can because it's a really good program, and I appreciate what you all do.
Thank you. I'll just give a historical perspective. Senator Webb, I don't know if you remember back in the early days, we did regional meetings to find out what the grassroots producers, what their priority was. The number one priority was help with marketing agriculture products. So that's one thing that the board looks at. How does a application create market opportunities for our farmers and ultimately improve net farm income? And of course, value-added processing is part of that as well. And then because we have this infrastructure, we can all address issues like large food animal veterinary shortage programs. So,
and thank you. I believe final question or comments by Representative Sarge.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Honored to co-chair this committee. Looking forward to this upcoming year. Obviously, seeing the bill and Brandon's top picks. I enjoyed that part of your presentation. I do want to make a comment on in February on the Metcalfe County 4-H ham. District 51, which is Marion and Taylor County that I represent. Just an update there. They are participating in this program. It is a really neat program for our young people to understand the process of a ham. Ham Days being in Marion County, they actually have a live auction on a Saturday morning of that, and where those 4-H'ers are bringing their hams up, they auction them off. Obviously, it's a fundraiser for the 4-H and for those students. And Taylor County does that as well, kind of do a meal type thing, showing off the hams that were prepared and processed through the process. So just to let you know that these type of programs, and I'm thinking maybe Metcalfe County, this is kind of the kickstart that particular area there for these funds to purchase those hams. But
Yes.
I appreciate those programs, and obviously you kickstarting these programs in the different counties, and looking forward to the other projects as we go through the year and doing that. So that being said, and also I shared with one of my colleagues here, but I think, and I haven't talked to my co-chair, but I would love to see maybe the bill, Senator Webb, is it 611? If we could get a copy of that emailed to the committee as and just have that in our hands and know what that looks like. That's a great idea. So thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. And that we'll have, the staff will be sending that out along with the information on the 25th anniversary. Have that distributed to everybody as well. Thank you. Appreciate you coming in. You're always welcome. Anytime we can have you on the agenda. Before we adjourn, just want to note that the next meeting is June 12th at 10:30 a.m., 9:30 God's time, and Co-Chair Sarge will be running the show for that. With that, this meeting is adjourned.